Hello, hello. I'm so sorry. Good morning, everybody. I did my podcast from home on Friday and I totally forgot I had my microphone plugged in. So I kind of have it off to the side because I had to plug it in really early. And I totally forgot. So it stopped streaming on me, you guys. So I'm so sorry. I'm just going to share this out real quick and done. Okay. So, hello, everybody. I'm hoping I am on. Yes, good. Thank you. So I'm just going to go back and say hello to everybody. Marcus and Keith, Michelle, good morning. Laura, Anthony, Adam, Sandra, Delolio. I think that you had your Kanye on this morning. Sandy and hello, Janelle, Beth, Josh, and Brad, thank you so much. Okay, good. I'm so glad. Phew. I was like, oh my gosh, it stopped streaming. What am I going to do? And I was trying to do settings real quick and it wasn't working. So you know what? I just plugged my microphone back in. So I'm hoping you guys can all hear me and just throw me some hearts, and it looks like you can see me. So I'm just hoping you guys can hear me okay. So today, Lisa is traveling and she is heading to Dallas. Good morning, Scott Simons. And she had contacted me yesterday. And I'm not going to lie, I'm dragging you guys because I was at a concert. If you guys were kind of following me. Yes, thank you, Sandy. You can hear me. Okay. So, yes, I am like super tired this morning, but I got up because I couldn't wait to see you guys and talk to you. So today, what I wanted to talk a little bit more, I have some notes here, but what I wanted to talk more about was kind of like the check-in. I feel like today is May and, we're not quite through the 5 months, but I was thinking about the word of the year and I wanted to focus on that today. So I wanted to check in on you guys, see how you're doing on the word of the year. If you picked a word of the year, throw it up in the comments because I want to make sure that we keep each other accountable. And so what's in a word, right? What's in a word? When Lisa brought this up earlier in the year about picking a word, it was something that I already did. But she definitely made us take it a step further, if you guys remember. So, she had talked about picking a word of the year. And when I started doing it, it was back in 2016, and it was from an article in Inc. magazine. And yes, throw up your words. I think Scott Simon said growth. Everybody else who has a word, Adam says love. But I started it 3 years ago. This is my 4th year. And my words of the year were growth, actually first, then rise, then soar. There's a lot of things in that rise and soar period for me. I know that some of you who have tuned in, I've mentioned it a little bit, but, where I had to kind of rise above a lot of the chatter that was going on about me. And then my next year was soar because I was like, I don't have time for this. I've got to be above this. Not kind of in a conceited way, but like I can't pay attention to this kind of stuff. And so that was soar. This year, my word is action. So I love that you guys are putting your words up there. Commitment, says Sandra. Dina says persistence. Transform, focus by Tabby. Michelle says believe. Beth says impact. And Josh, is that your word, game plan? I love it. Brad says uplift. So I love that you guys remember your word. And I wanted to talk about the article and what it said real quick, and then we'll kind of tie it all up here. But in the article, basically it said that focusing on a single word can actually make you happier, more effective, healthier, and more successful. So why wouldn't you pick out a word of the year, right? That advice came from Dan Britton, Jimmy Page, and John Gordon, which are co-authors of the book One Word Will Change Your Life. So again, Dan Britton, Jimmy Page, John Gordon. The book is called One Word Will Change Your Life. And in the book, the 3 authors actually use that technique for years. They lay out a step-by-step process, which I'm going to kind of walk you guys through some of their steps. And they said that the truth is people don't remember paragraphs or even sentences. So a word is so simple. And, I know this is not the beginning of the year, but New Year's resolutions, a word has helped me live out a New Year's resolution so much better than actually setting up the New Year's resolutions, because I would be like, what what was that? I totally forgot what I was going to do in my new year. So I love that you guys are putting your words up there. So again, we're talking about words of the year. If you're joining in, please write your word down in the comments so that we can kind of keep each other accountable. So for those of you who didn't pick a word, or if you're kind of wondering whether you should do this, I want to walk through some of the steps that the article talked about to find that word of the year. So the first thing is begin by unplugging from your busy life. So what that means is step away from the computer, step away from the TV, your phone, take some time to be in deep thought about this. You know, it might mean going for a walk, it might mean journaling, it might mean retreating to a certain quiet sanctuary and writing it down. So these can all be like effective approaches, but just understand that, and me being the audiologist, that there are different ways of listening for different people. And so stepping away from your busy life to just kind of think about what type of word would be your word of the year. Michelle says, I think we should make resolutions all throughout the year. That's a great idea, Michelle. Liza Myers-Borges says her word is purpose. Awesome. And Nigel says elevate as well. So again, we're talking about words of the year, just checking in on you guys, talking about an article that I read in Inc. magazine, and just going through some of the steps to find your word. Number one is to begin by unplugging from your busy life. Number two is ask yourself important questions. So what do I need? What's in my way, and what needs to go, okay? So when you ask about the needs, you know, a lot of us think about, what do I want, right? Those are some of the ambitious goals that we have. But really what you want to ask yourself is, what do I actually need that I don't already have? The second question is, what's in my way? So would that be your work schedule? Would that be you saying yes to things that you really shouldn't be saying yes, but you're kind of saying yes anyway, right? I mean, we all do it. I've done it a couple times even this year, you know, saying yes when I probably shouldn't have said yes. So what's in your way? Third question would be, what needs to go? So not only tangible things like throwing away, like I don't think anybody would throw out their phone or anything like that, but not just tangible things, but maybe even like the fear of being rejected or dismissed that sometimes stops you from reaching out, both professionally and personally. So those are the three questions. What do you need? What's preventing you from getting what you need? And what needs to go in your life? All right, so that's the second thing about asking yourself three important questions. The third thing would be opening up your heart. So consider these questions and your word should come out to you, you know, but what needs to be done in me and through me? And I'm not necessarily talking about, you know, a religious type of thing, but you're inviting this word to kind of find you. So really think about what needs to be done in me in order for me to live out this word, right? So that would be the third thing, is open your heart. You know, what's interesting is I attended this elite retreat, and I've talked about it before, and it's with my friend, and actually Lisa's friend as well, Holly Dowling. And I went on this retreat, and some of the things that she did like drove me crazy. Like I talked about it where she didn't give me a schedule and I was dying. I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do every day? But the other thing she did, and this was the reason why I learned this, was she stepped it up for me, because that was actually, I think, one of the first years I was living out a word. That was the first year. So it was probably in 2016. And she had us sit in the morning. She gave us all these little notebooks, and she said, sit for about 3 to 5 minutes quietly, like no distractions. And you're going to write down some things that you have, you know, like we do now, you guys, you know, gratitude journals, right? But also she said, just be quiet and let a word come to you. And there was another person in that elite retreat that said, I already do this. And it's true, you guys, because I was skeptical. I was like, okay, 3 to 5 minutes for me, a word's not going to pop in my mind. And I'm already living out a word of the year, like asking me to live out a word of the day. So this is what it was, a word of the day. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to find a word. It's not going to just pop in my mind. I literally did what they said, and I sat there with no distractions, wrote down some gratitude, thankfulness, and literally, literally a word came in my mind, like, and I lived it out for the day, and it was super interesting. So if that's something that you guys are interested in too, I challenge you to live out a word for the day. All right. The last thing, the fourth thing is let your word inspire and transform you for the coming year. So what this means is these are some different ideas of putting your word prominently into your daily life, which means you can use it as a screensaver. You can use it like hanging on your wall. You can use it as a smartphone lock screen, in your email signature. These are just some great ideas for you to remember that word and to put it in your daily life. I was at a workshop, and what they did was they told us to think of 3 words that described us. So, don't think of 3 words because I'm already asking you to remember your one word. But for that one word, what they did was they had us set an alarm in our phone to remind us, and it would go off at whatever time you set. So for those of you who have alarms on their phone, I know it works on an iPhone. I'm not too sure on an Android, but you can actually put a word in there on your alarm so that when your alarm goes off, the word pops up. Okay, so that's another way. You guys, if you have any other ways to kind of remember your words, then pop it up in the comments. Again, all trying to help each other stay accountable, right? All right, so do those things. Maybe even tell somebody what your word is, because I feel like when you share it, people will help support you, and it'll help you stay true to your objectives. Sharing with those maybe at work and challenging people at work to do it also with you and helping them find their words or giving them the time and the space to find their words can also make your team more effective. So you might want to consider, finding a word for your work team or your company, and you guys can continue to live that out as well. All right. What else was I going to talk about? Okay, so talking about your word, Lisa had challenged us to pick that word, but she stepped it up for us and said, let's make an acronym. So if you guys remember your acronym, now that you've posted your words, start going through and posting your acronym. So for me, my word of the year again this year was action. And so the letters for action spell out or explain what my word is. And it says act with confidence to take steps to increase your opportunities to grow your net worth. I know there's a lot of words in there, but all of them do start with action. All the letters of the words spell out action. And so if you guys remember those, put it in the comments as well. I honestly, it's hard for me to recall. I know exactly what I mean by action, but it was hard for me to recall it exactly. So I printed it out and I posted it up on my office. And so, don't forget that Lisa challenged us one more step. It's not just a word, but if you can reach that acronym, then we want to help you keep accountable for that acronym. So Lisa's challenge again was to pick a word, make an acronym. Fierce was her word, right? And fierce for her was fearless, initiative, enthusiastic, relentless, crush approval addiction. I know a lot of you guys like that one, the C. And then her E in fierce is execute. So now it is your turn. Write in the comments what your word is. Write what your acronym is. Let's keep each other accountable. What is going to inspire you for the rest of the year? So I just wanted to hop on, do a review, and keep you guys all accountable. So thank you so much for joining me. Sorry about the hiccup in the beginning, and I hope you guys have a great day. Happy Monday, and have a great day today. Bye.